Welcome. Thanks for being here. We are delighted to have two of our filmmakers here for a Q&A. And don't forget to vote on your way out. You can either vote on the iPad as you walk out the door, or you'll get an email and a text message to, you should already have it actually, to vote from your phone if you prefer to do that. I'm Caitlin Boyle. I'm the executive director of the Middlebury New Filmmakers Festival, and I will let the filmmakers introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Ema Heatley, and I was the writer, producer, and I was in Learners. Nice to meet you all.
Hi, I'm Anne Hawker, and I'm the writer and director of Cliff Edge.
So I'll start us off with a couple of questions, and then we'll take questions from the audience. We don't have a runner mic in the audience, so just speak up and I'll repeat the question if we need to. So I think I'd love for both of you to start just by saying how you came to the project. What was your inspiration? What were the origins of the process?
Yeah, so our film came about kind of loosely based on reality. So I am an actor, and there was a period where I was in between jobs and spending a lot of time living with my boyfriend, but my boyfriend was living with his dad, who had recently retired. So we both found ourselves, whilst Paul, my boyfriend, was out at work, just spending quite a lot of time together and becoming quite good friends, quite surprisingly. And then I kind of thought at the time this would be a really nice dynamic for something. And then I had a role that I needed to drive for, and I couldn't drive. I actually still can't drive. Spoiler. And Paul said, why didn't Dad teach you? Like, he's got loads of time on his hands. It never actually happened, because I think the thought of it just was too horrendous to imagine. But yeah, I think we just enjoyed the idea of throwing two characters together that were probably quite different and lonely and unfulfilled in their own ways, and kind of seeing where that confined space could take them, and sort of unlikely friendship blossoming.
Hi, mine was also based on actual experiences. Looking after my mother when she became older was quite fraught with trying to juggle it with work, and I always felt that I was never there at all, and then there's guilt which comes with that. And so I suppose, so I felt pretty guilty, and I think this film is kind of like sort of imagining my mother in a way. And thinking what she was feeling about the absent daughter not being there. And it's a sort of, obviously I took it to a different level in that it's a kind of dream stroke ghost story as a way of kind of exploring those feelings. But yeah, that was the inspiration. So.
I have one more question before we turn it to the audience, which is, you both accomplish something in a very short time, which is to show the development and the arc of a relationship building. And I wonder if you can each share a little bit about how you structured the film so that that evolution that we see and the growth in the relationship between the characters can take place in this very compressed timeline. You don't have a full 90 minutes to let it sort of flourish and take its twists and turns. And that's quite a challenge with a short film. So I'd love to hear what, did it feel like a challenge, and how did you overcome those constraints?
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge. And we actually shot a lot more than we ended up with, which I'm sure is often the case. But I think our script was about 25 pages, and we had about 25-ish minutes. And, there was so much more in there and a lot more exposition. And then in the edit, we kind of just took a big saw to everything. Yeah, just slashed through it and cut out a lot of the dialogue that actually I thought was essential in terms of explaining their relationship to one another, explaining about her job. There are a lot more scenes where they go into depth about his grief and his wife. And the minute we removed those scenes, actually, I found it was all a lot clearer. And we just kind of left it to Roger's amazing acting to tell the story of his grief. I think he just sort of refers to his wife. We never really know what the story is there, and actually I feel like that was a lot stronger in a way. And I suppose the arc, I started with, I think I wrote a first scene and a last scene, so we knew like where they were going to start and where they were going to end. And then I think it was finding the sort of nuances and the moments where you can kind of see the spark between them, and finding it's not a rom-com, but actually using the same sort of beats of like, that's the moment where they kind of that's where they see that thing in each other that they like. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of. And the music was such a big part of it as well, like really using that to signpost the kind of the building of that friendship. So yeah, it was definitely a challenge, but I actually think it was cutting things out for us that really helped.
I think my answer was not to have any dialogue. It's really spare with the dialogue, and so in a way similar. I also knew, short films are like haikus, aren't they? They really are. And so I think I wanted to kind of lean into the poetry of it and to have, and to use images and music and atmosphere and soundscape to try and create as much of it as possible. And I wanted to leave a lot to imagination. I don't necessarily know. I think people have viewed this film and they have slightly different interpretations of what actually happened and what's really going on. And I actually wanted that as well to be quite deliberate, so that you get from it what you want. Again, a little bit like reading a poem or something. You draw from things what you want to draw, and you read in your own experiences into it. So I wanted to leave it open like that, and I think that a short film lends itself so well to that format. So I think that was why. And similar in a way to you, I knew that I didn't, it could have felt very bleak. And I wanted to try and bring at the end the sense of togetherness between this relationship between the carer and the mother, and the sense of her acceptance and the sense of hope. And that's actually what the landscape was about and what the cliff was about. And so sort of freedom and acceptance and peace. So So it was it's kind of keying into the base emotion, I think, and trying to let the pictures do it as much as possible. Yeah, it's a way of doing it quickly. So.
Yeah, I like what you say about the poetry of it. We have a panel later this week about the poetry of cinema and the cinematic qualities of poetry, with Vermont's poet laureate Bianca Stone, and I hope we'll dig into some of that. The paring away is in fact what makes it more rich. Are there questions from the audience? Don't be shy. Yeah.
Was it difficult to get your co-star, Lerner? He's so astonishing. I just lit up and I saw that this was on offer. You're a fine actor, but he's just phenomenal. How did you get him?
I'll repeat the question in case you can't hear it. So the question is, was it difficult to get the co-star for Learners?
Yeah, so basically, as we were writing, because it was sort of loosely based on a real person, we were like, it's a very specific sense of humour and a sort of strange blend of really kind of quite mean, cutting dialogue, but then also like real tenderness. So we knew we had to get the exact right person for it, and then slowly as we were writing it, I just thought, it's Roger Allen. And I was trying to rack my brains to think if there's any way that we could kind of circumvent agents and all of that, if we knew anyone that knew him. And I was in a TV show a couple of years ago, and the director of that made a film called Tetris, which was on Apple. and Roger played Robert Maxwell in that film. And I just had a memory of the director showing me a picture of him in prosthetics, and I thought, oh, that's great. Okay, John knows Roger, so I just need to email John and get Roger's email address, which I did. And I sent it to him and just said, see what you think, and if you want to be a part of it, we'd love to have you. And he really kindly just said, yeah, I like the script and I like the character, and I will do it. So we managed to keep him on board as we raised the money, and he was.
He works a lot.
Yes, yeah. I think he's won 3 Olivier Awards. He's a bit of an idol of mine as well. So the whole time on set, I was just like, I can't believe I get to share a stage with this amazing talent. But yeah, he was really, really generous, and for the whole process was just really, really amazing. And obviously we had no money, but he was very understanding of the kind of confines of a short film, and yeah, we were very, very lucky to get him.
I'd also love to hear about the actor who played the mother. Just remarkable.
Deborah Malloy, she does do oh, sorry.
Could you repeat the question?
So, she was asking about the actor who played the mother in A Cliff Edge, and her name is Deborah Malloy, and she's actually she's Irish, but she's a very well-known stage actor in the UK, and she does appear in television as well, but she's mainly theatre, and she's amazing as well, and she's very sympathetic. Well, we actually just went to the agent and sent the script to the agent, and Dervla liked it. She wanted to meet me and check me out and see what else I'd done, but then I talked to her about where it came from, and she was on board, and she's so nice. You know, short films, the actors don't get much money. It's not. So obviously we treat them as well as we possibly can, but they're very low budget short films normally, and they just muck in. And Anna Maria, who was the carer, she's also a very fine actress. She's a BAFTA winner, and she came from Romania to do it for us, and she was super amazing as well. And I loved her because I felt just with her look, she could convey so much. So. Yeah, so we were just really lucky to have both of them, yeah.
I think we have time for one more. Yeah, thank you.
Just to piggyback for a moment on your comment about the actor, I could listen to Roger Allen read the telephone book. It was amazing. And I just want to say that I really appreciate your decision to cut. We did not need the backstory with the wife. And again, when you've got an actor like Roger Allen, he can convey all of that. And I thought you made the same decision about the suggestion of volunteering in the Wigmore Hall. If people know the Wigmore Hall, it's just in that suggestion, that character to the dad says everything about the ways in which this relationship has developed. So your less is more, I think, paid big dividends.
Do you want to comment more on that? I'll just distill that the less is, Frankie appreciated the less is more script and acting of learners.
Yeah, I think it was just a real challenge in remembering how much the audience bring to something and how much more interesting it is to watch something when you're being asked questions and when there's references to things. And it was the same in Anne's film where you're like, hang on, why is that happening? And what was that thing that they just referred to? And you're then, as an audience member, doing a lot more detective work. And you also bring your own thoughts to it as well. So I think, obviously, because it was a story about grief and connection and loneliness, that's something that, impacts everyone. So I think it allows a bit more space for the audience to bring their own feelings into it. And then obviously when you have someone like Roger who can, I think there's always one line in it where he's listening to the music and he says, oh, we saw this at the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra, and he just looks away, and there's so much in that. And I think when we're in the edit, I think we just thought, well, that's all we need. And it's, yeah, you just need that image, because it does so much more than him going into a lot of detail. So, yeah.
I think it's a very fine line between giving an audience too much and too little, but when you hit that line, it becomes more of a collaboration between audience and filmmaker.
Thank you so much, everyone. One more round of applause for our film.